All right, welcome founders and entrepreneurs. Today we are diving into something absolutely critical. How do you get your company funded without accidentally giving away the keys to the kingdom?
So let's just jump right in with a question. You own 51% of your company. That means you're the boss, right? You call all the shots. I mean, it seems like simple math. Well, that assumption, it's a total myth. And honestly, it's a dangerous one. Believing that 51% ownership automatically equals absolute control, that can lead to some really painful surprises down the road.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The Holloway Guide to Raising Venture Capital puts it perfectly. They say this idea is a pervasive myth that is dangerous for founders. It's not just wrong, it's dangerous. And it all comes down to how venture capital deals are actually structured. Okay, so let's get into the weeds here. How do VCs, venture capitalists, really get control? Well, it has way less to do with the simple percentage of shares they own and everything to do with the special rights and privileges that get attached to those shares.
So VCs use two main tools to get this done. Two really powerful mechanisms: special rights that come with the stock they buy, and getting seats on your company's board of directors. Let's break down exactly what that means.
First things first, you gotta understand that not all stock is created equal, not even close. Founders, you usually hold what's called common stock. It's your basic ownership, standard voting rights, simple. Investors, on the other hand, they almost always get preferred stock, and that comes with a whole suite of special goodies. So what the heck is preferred stock? Well, think of it as a VIP class of ownership. It gives investors powers that common stockholders, that's you, just don't have. This is where the whole idea that ownership is ownership completely falls apart. Some shares are just way more powerful than others. And this is where investors get their superpowers. They're called protective provisions. These things give preferred stockholders veto power over huge company decisions. We're talking about things like selling the company, taking on more debt, even changing the number of people on the board. So yeah, an investor with just a tiny percentage of stock could literally block a huge sale you want to make. Now for the second mechanism, the board of directors. Legally speaking, the board is the group that oversees and controls the company. When you first start out, it's probably just you and maybe a co-founder, but that changes fast when you take on investment.
And this, right here, this is a massive red flag. The moment investors control a majority of the seats on your board, they have strategic control of your business. They can block your decisions, create all sorts of friction, and in the most extreme cases, they can even fire you from your own company. That's why keeping a founder-led board is so important.
So let's say you navigate all those control clauses perfectly. There's another force at play here, a kind of silent killer called equity dilution. This is just the simple, cold, hard math that your ownership percentage is going to shrink with every single funding round.
The concept's pretty simple. To bring a new investor on board, your company has to issue brand new shares for them. So while the overall pie of your company gets bigger, your original slice now represents a smaller percentage of that new, larger pie.
Let's just visualize it. You start here. It's all you. You own 100% of your company. The whole pie is yours. Then, boom, you raise your first seed round of funding. You sell 25% to an investor. Just like that, your slice has shrunk to 75%. And this process, it repeats itself with every single future round of funding.
And this is a classic trap. As Harper James Solicitors points out, founders get so eager to close a deal that they give away way too much equity way too early. This just sets them up for problems later, making it harder to raise more money without losing control completely.
So, if raising venture capital means giving up equity and control, what's the alternative? Well, thankfully, there's a whole other category of funding out there that lets you raise capital without having to make those painful trade-offs. It's called non-dilutive funding. And the name really says it all. It's capital that does not dilute your ownership. It is a super powerful way to fuel your growth while you keep 100% of your equity and 100% of your control. And it's not just one thing. Think of it more like a toolkit. You've got options that range from traditional loans to more modern approaches like revenue-based financing, crowdfunding, grants, and hey, even winning competitions. Okay, now this table, this is where the trade-offs become crystal clear. Just look at the top two rows. With non-dilutive options like revenue-based financing, you see no for dilution and none for investor control. Now compare that to the VC column, where giving up both is just standard. The right choice is going to depend on your business, but the alternatives are incredibly powerful. So just to sum up the key benefits here, you preserve all of your equity, you maintain full control,
You don't have to add new board members that you have to answer to. Repayment can often be more flexible, and the whole process is often much, much faster than a typical VC round.
Which brings us to the final and most important question. Look, this isn't about which path is right or wrong. It's a strategic choice, and it depends completely on what you, the founder, actually want to achieve.
And this slide illustrates the two core philosophies perfectly. The VC path is like strapping yourself to a rocket ship. It's built for massive, insane growth, but it means giving up equity and some control. The non-dilutive path is more about measured, sustainable growth, where you keep all of your ownership and you answer only to yourself and your customers. And, this choice is becoming more and more relevant. As the funding landscape shifts, that old growth at all costs mindset is kind of fading away. Capital efficiency, being smart with your money, is the new gold standard. And that shift makes these non-dilutive options way more attractive for founders who can prove they have a solid, sustainable business. So, I'll leave you with this question. It's a classic startup dilemma that really frames the choice perfectly. What is your ultimate goal? Is it to chase the highest possible valuation and get rich, even if it means you're just a small part of something huge? Or is it to build and lead your own empire, to be king of a realm that you control completely? There's no right answer, but knowing your answer is the first step to building the company you really want.